Hello everyone, this is Dr. Anastasia Chopelas with another episode of Scientific Healing, and today we have Dr. Orpelli back again, and we're talking about EMF radiation. The EMF radiation is one of the things that's very pervasive in our environment, and we're going to talk about things that you can do to help mitigate your exposure, to help your immune system, and to prevent your DNA from being altered. And there are other things that you can do. So let's get started. Last week, after we finished our broadcast on what you can do to protect yourself from the coronavirus, how you can heal from it, and the many valuable tips that we passed around back and forth and then later published on YouTube, and how you can get a hold of Dr. Orpelli at his website, drorpelli.com. We got excited about, well, today there is a really important factor in how your immune system can become impacted. And the immune system has a very delicate balance, and there are many things that can impact it. We mentioned some of those last week, like lack of sleep and too much sugar and the wrong foods and things like that. But there's also something that's really, really pervasive, and that is EMF radiation. If I walk around in my neighborhood at any one location, I'll get anywhere between 5 and 10 Wi-Fi signals on my phone. And of course, there's the phone signal coming in and out, especially if I've got it up against my ear. And you may not think it's that dangerous, but if you go on WebMD or you go on any scholarly articles, you'll see that EMF, which is electromagnetic frequencies, EMF radiation is pervasive in our lives. We have it everywhere. And it can affect your DNA, it can affect your immune system. So welcome, Dr. Orpelli. I am so excited to have you back to talk about this really important topic.
Thank you.
Awesome. So you have a lot of experience in your practice of people coming, and you help them mitigate some of that EMF, and what's the result of that?
So I don't really test only for EMF, but many times we'll find that the body did not improve itself when we are helping the body to recover, because most of my patients actually are chronic conditions. And I found the EMF actually, because the body works electromagnetic, if we are working next to electromagnetic, that actually take our energy, we suffer from that. Now, the new research that showed that started in 2012, it was 28,000 different scientists that said to not use the G5 60 hertz, because this is kind of break the DNA of the human body. And the research that they did is tons of research done on that, only to see if this can promote cancer. And the results of most of the research came that is not promoting cancer, is not going to affect or change cancer patients to make it worse, but they never check against other things like different viruses, different bacteria. So the 5G and 4Gs are very, very similar. The only thing in 5G, the data transmit much faster, and we have 10 times more channels around us than before. So the data will transmit faster. As a result of that, we know something happened in our body and actually challenge the immune system, and the immune system actually not operate. Now, is all the time affect the one that they are the weakest immune system, and is the older people, and most of the time that people has a compromised health. If they have like heart issue, kidney, liver, and any other surgery or their own medication to suppress the immune system. This is the most receptors, but the most of the population not really receive the virus. And thank God when we are right now keep the distance from each other, because more happening, more we know about this virus, how is staying on hard surface for a long time. It can live better in lower temperature. It can be like all the way to 18 days on hard surfaces. We bombarded in online with a lot of videos that come from China about the Chinese that actually want to infect other people, and they take the saliva and put it on the elevator so other people will touch it, get infected. It's a lot of different craziness that people that got infected want other people to suffer like them. But so when you are isolate yourself and stay home, you don't receive it or give it, but you still need to protect yourself. And the reason this is so hard, because this virus never ready to fight it. And if something that has no antibody attacked us, then we have a problem. And then when we have a problem with the immune system, and we know that these viruses actually attack the white blood cells, therefore the immune system become compromised even more until they recognize how to fight the coronavirus. And in the same time, as we talked last time, the coronavirus is actually very weak to heat. So if 56 Celsius, so 133 Fahrenheit, actually kill the virus. Therefore, I think everybody should expose themselves to the heat in their face, in the sinus area, for at least 15 minutes, because this is the life of the virus, 1 to twice a day. And this will help people to stay stronger if the virus start to attack them, to kill, or you get to the second step. Because the minute you get to the lungs, and this is the target area of the virus, is the lungs, then is the heat on the sinuses. And on top of that, because we don't have any kind of antibody against these viruses and new things that attack, the damage is much higher than when we have to a flu virus that the body actually got it and has antibody about it.
So the danger with viruses is that they mutate too at a very high rate. And so if they mutate past a certain point, we then still don't have the immunity. So it's really important to build up our own immunity. And just for information to people, white blood cells are produced either in the bone marrow or by the lymph system. So it's 70% bone marrow and 30% lymph system. And the dangers with EMF is, so it's not just G5. We have Wi-Fi systems, we have Bluetooth. People put the Bluetooth on their head all the time. They wear these Bluetooth headphones that are really popular. There's the smart meters. We have a smart meter that sits right on the other side of our wall, and they just installed it. And there are precautions that you can take to help mitigate those effects, because all of the EMF that's bombarding the body is shifting everything, right? Everything. And there are EMF experts that are popping up all over the place, and I've talked with many of them. And they basically say, don't have anything electric in your bedroom, right, when you're sleeping. And there are sheets that you can buy that you ground them, and they create a grid, and it protects you from EMF radiation. And you can either sleep on them or have it over you. And I'll provide a link for them. I have one myself, especially when I travel, because my home has a lot of protections already in place. And don't have any smart TVs in your bedroom, don't have your phones, don't have Wi-Fi there, because the object that you have in front of you that's sending and receiving will create the greater radiation, not just the ambient radiation. And then you can also wire a lot of your devices instead of having your Wi-Fi in your house. All of the computers I have in here. I have a smart TV in front of me and a computer, and everything is completely wired. There is no Wi-Fi running in this room at the moment. So you can take those simple precautions, and they're not that hard to do. And so what is it that you recommend for your patients to help them with this?
If they need to have the phone in the bedroom to put it on air mode, in airplane mode,
Mm-hmm.
then it doesn't receive or send anything. It just will show you the time. If you have a smartwatch, the same thing. The minute you put airplane mode, it doesn't. Now, to improve the sleep, as we talk about how important the sleep is to the immune system, you need to have complete darkness and remove as far as possible any electronic that create any radiation to you. Now, even the cell phones, not cell phone, landline, that they are cordless, they're working on microwave frequency 2.4 hertz that actually create radiation, even this to take out from your room. So your room is, when you sleep and when you recharge yourself, is protected. And in the day, you should take enough vitamin C now and zinc to help you to take it. As I said earlier, the amount of the body can absorb, because vitamin C is water soluble. We cannot take in one time 1,000 and absorb it. But if we take 250 every 4 hours, or 500 every 5 hours or 4 hours, we absorb it all day long, and our immune system actually stronger.
Yeah, and what do you think about time release? There's time release vitamin C. What do you think about those?
All of them are good. The only thing is, to take it in every 4 hours,
Okay.
because it's a water soluble.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I by myself take 250 milligram twice a day for years, and it protect my immune system. I take more nutrition, and we find that majority, 8 from 10 people in the population, actually deficient in vitamin D, and vitamin D is one of the cofactor for the immune system.
Correct.
Vitamin A and E is another. The only thing, you need to take the right caution about that, because they are oil soluble, so they store in the body. If you take higher dosage, more than what the doctor tell you, then you store it in the body, you can create a different condition. Everything in the body need to be balanced. If it's too much, it's not good. If it's too little, it's not good. You want to have in the ratio of the normal, in the 3/4 higher. So I repeat it. Let's say the ratio is 9 to 11 in calcium. You want to have the 10, not close to the 9.
Okay.
So when we are like that, we are safe. And of course, each person individually should have a little bit different. But in general, this is the rules to keep everybody together, healthy, and to know what to do from protecting yourself. Because the problem is, the minute you go outside the house, you expose the radiation from every single cell around you. You drive from home to work, and you probably pass 30 to 40. If you have a 1 mile, you pass 30 to 40 different cells of phone receptors that are the 5G, that are stronger than the 4G, because this is the reason we have transmit the data now in a seconds instead of the minutes.
That's correct.
So my friend used to say, if I will give you glasses to see the radiation and you go outside the house, you'll see black. This much radiation. How many different remote controls we have for the TV, for the...
Yeah, those are infrared. They're not as bad, but all the radiation just adds up. There's so much of it.
Yes, and this is something that people do not calculate. It's not the one specific, is the global radiation together around us actually challenge the immune system and challenge the nerve system of operate normally. And this is the reason we have more weaknesses and more conditions that never heard before. or never knew or used to deal with that in the easy way now is much harder to heal them.
Yes, and then it also reprograms the DNA. So DNA is actually very little is hardwired. It's mostly programmed.
Yes.
And people aren't aware of it. It's like the new science of epigenetics. It's running. It's totally amazing. There are studies at UCLA at how relationships reprogram your DNA to a positive effect, like good relationships, and poor relationships destroy it. But there's also evidence that shows that all kinds of ambient radiation will also reprogram your DNA. But your behavior will also reprogram your DNA. So if you do a lot of destructive things to yourself and you're depressed all the time and you're angry all the time, that reprograms your DNA to be disruptive to your body. So your own behavior, good eating, good sleeping, hydrating, good nutrition, all of that programs you positively. And so that's the one defense that you can do is mitigate the amount of EMF and do things positive for your body.
I think in the future we will have experts like architects that will come to the house and tell you how to protect yourself from all the different radiation, so you will be safer at home at least, or in the car.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can actually buy meters now off Amazon where you can go and check things. And one of the other things that you can do, and you can look this up, people, it's to create your especially create a Faraday cage in your bedroom. So what a Faraday cage is, especially if it's if the mesh is smaller than the wavelength that's running through, what it does is it prevents the EMF from coming within that cage. So if you have like a smart meter on the other side of your wall, you can do this. You just put this wire mesh wallpaper over the top, ground it, and you're good to go. It's not that expensive. It's very doable. And you can always hire a handyman to do it. Right, and these are simple things that you can do that aren't that disruptive. It won't change your home environment that much, and it protects you because there is a lot of stuff coming through all the time.
Now, one of the organs that is the electromagnetic that control us is the brain. And most of us actually protect the body instead of protecting the brain. And when we see somebody wearing this kind of funny hat with silver or aluminum to protect the brain, they have something about that because it's the electromagnetic part of our body that actually communicate with every single organ. Most of the organs communicate in very low amount of electricity, and changing the things is electromagnetic.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, the numbers are really getting increased in the United States of people sick. And we need to know that each person has responsibility to protect himself and protect the environment. And all this is because this is something new and the immune system doesn't know how to fight it. And they need to do something about that. If it's the right way to expose yourself to heat, protect you from radiation, boost the immune system, all these important steps that people should do to protect themselves, now is the time. I don't know if the medication with the malaria will help, because I remember my friends that took the malaria medication when they went to Asia. They were sick before the trip for 10 days. And one of my friends actually canceled the trip because he was so sick from the medication. I don't know if it helped with the coronavirus or not. But if it will be the precaution about protecting ourselves and boost the immune system, we get it in very light way, not really heavy way. The rate mortality, the rate percentage of people that die from that increased from 1% to 1.4%. number of infected in United States increased dramatically. If you will increase the same thing by September, every single person in United States will actually have the coronavirus. If we look on the calculation of increasing, that is by 4 to 6, and we had now in the 1,000. So we're looking, if we don't going to do something really aggressiveness, doesn't matter. The truth is, doesn't matter how we got it here. If it came from China or came from the radiation, we need to do something aggressively to protect ourselves so we will be alive and we will function. Otherwise, I already see a recession coming. As a result of that, many businesses are closed.
Yes, it's terrible. All the gyms are closed, the shops are closed. You know, you can only buy stuff basically online or order it online and they'll drop it off for you or go pick it up. It was kind of traumatic trying to get into a grocery store. There were lines that were like an hour long just to get in, never mind a shop. It's like, it reminded me of stories I heard from my Russian friends. Like they came here and they go, what? There's stuff in the grocery stores and there's not lines? So now we have them. But yeah, it's very traumatic. A lot of businesses are closing. Fortunately, my husband and my daughter are in what they call critical industry, so they're working, and they work in very small groups. But you know, it's a little bit scary what's happening with, you know, people are panicking, and I can feel the panic because I'm so empathic and so I can feel it, and it's like impinging in on me, and I'm sure that other people are feeling the panic too. And so these things that we're talking about, they're to help you. So there were 2 questions that came through. One question was, how much heat and how do you put it on your face? So, you know, last week we mentioned about the sauna, that going into a nice hot sauna for 20 minutes and then coming out for an hour and going in another 20 minutes. This is very, very common in Europe, but the problem is that all the gyms are closed now. So it's really hard to get into a sauna. So what would you recommend without that?
What I recommend is to take any kind of unit that create heat, like air dryer, and put it in 45 degree to the face, put it on the low, block the back, and spray it to the face, breathing only from the nose, inhale, exhale slow. Get another bottles of water that you can spray on your face if the heat is too much for your skin. And then you do it for 15 minutes, wait 1 hour, do it another 15 minutes. This is what we do with every single patient. We teach them how to do it, we guide them, we do it with them the first time, they learn how to do it, and they do it every day for 2 times. If you feel you're getting sick, and doesn't matter if the corona or other viruses, you will do it for 3 to 5 times a day. In 2 to 3 days, you will heal. Because
Awesome.
it will heal anything in the face, sinuses that live there. Now, the heater of sauna is 140, but the heater on the air dryers can go to 150. So
Which
put it
is
in
what
the
you need.
distance. Yeah, the distance that not going to burn your skin, that you feel comfortable, but you breathe consistently. So this is what you want to do. Another one thing is drinking water every 15 minutes. So the body is, with alkaline water, for example, is actually not the best because we want natural water. The reason alkaline water decreases the pH in the stomach. So we want regular water to drink every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, wet your mouth and swallow it. This actually helps to the gut, the acid to kill anything stay in your mouth if you have the viruses getting into the mouth. So you protect the sinuses and you protect the cavities that exposed to the air because it's the airborne virus.
Okay, so then another question is, and I can address some of it, is that a lot of the EMF remediations are expensive. But the one thing that you mentioned is putting your phone on airplane mode. That gets rid of the thing. The other thing is to take your TVs out of your bedroom, take your anything that radiates at night, just take it out of your room, so you'll have one place in your home that is free from radiation. The thing is that if you have Wi-Fi signals coming from everywhere else, it's not nearly as strong, because I've measured this with a meter, unless you have the item in front of you that's sending and receiving Wi-Fi. If it's just in the air, it's not nearly as bad as if you have a laptop or your phone that's got Wi-Fi on it and you've got it really close to you. If you take a meter, it's sending and receiving, it's a lot stronger. So move them so the radiation drops as 1 over the distance squared. So if it's twice as far away from you, it's 1/4 the radiation. If it's 4 times, it's 1/16 the radiation. So the further away from you. So I use wired headsets, which do not have radiation. This is also very inexpensive. And when I speak on the phone, I put the phone the length, 3 to 4 feet away. I have it all the way away from me, so I don't have it right next to me. I never put the phone to my head, because that's a lot of radiation, both the 4 or 5G and or the Wi-Fi, right? So just by doing prudent things like that, it doesn't cost a lot of money. And
Person agree. And I think another one thing that you mentioned earlier, the blanket.
yes, the blankets are on Amazon. They are under $100 per person, and they last basically forever. They have like a little connection, and you just plug it into the grounding plug on your in your receptacles. You just plug it into the grounding plug, it's grounded, you put it over the top of you, and it prevents the radiation from coming into your body while you sleep at night, or even if you're sitting and watching TV, it'll keep the radiation away from you.
Another one thing, if you have the TV in the bedroom, when you go to sleep, you unplug it, it will be enough.
Yes,
So even
absolutely.
your phone, if the phone is, you see, iPhone, you cannot turn off. You need to really push to turn it off, because it's all the time received. But if it's off, is harmless. Anything that is off is harmless. So if you disconnect it from the plug, because many is connected to the plug, is still get electricity, still processing.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you take it off the plug, or create a plug that when you turn it off, it turn off all the electricity in the room, then you protect yourself. And we need to think about the small thing, because we don't know each individually what really stressed their immune system. But if we would do conscious different things to protect ourselves, the immune system, to boost it, not to expose ourselves to something unnecessary. Many people now stay at home and abuse themselves with alcohol and drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Is actually stress the immune system.
Way more than any EMF.
Yes. For example, if you drink alcohol and you get drunk, basically what is alcohol? Alcohol is sugar. This means the immune system actually shut down by 50%. Don't buy the EMF, stop drinking for this time. It will be safer for your immune system. And this is the reason most of the people in danger now is people with compromised immune system. And this is the diabetic people. This is the older that has complication with the heart or the lungs or liver or kidneys. This is the people compromised. Doesn't matter the age.
No, it doesn't.
Be careful.
Yeah, and it's over half of the people. Like, we went and looked at the list of people that have succumbed to the disease, and they're at least half of them are diabetic. So those are the people we really need to protect. the diabetics, the people that have asthma or have had asthma. One of my, somebody that my daughter knew through somebody else, just passed away. He was 35, but he had had asthma, and he had just gotten through surviving testicular cancer and had just gotten out of chemotherapy. So his immune system was severely compromised, and it didn't take long to get him. That's so unfortunate, that this young man survived for so long through so much disease, and then, boom, he's gone. And that is really sad. These are the people we really need to protect, isolate and protect.
Yes. Another one thing that help all the time, the minute the body know about the virus, how to fight the virus. And we have a protocol in the office that we do energy work, expose the body as a homeopathic remedy that actually has energy of the virus. So it's not really the virus, it's the energy of the virus. A medical doctor create this protocol that we are actually give to the patient to do in the protocol. That is nothing inhale, anything, they just hold the virus, the energy of the virus, and we see if they are strong or weak. If they are weak, basically they do not have any antibody against that. And if they're strong, the body actually naturally develop the antibody against that, and we strain the body to fight it. And in 1 week, this body actually would know how to fight it. We have another few protocols with that, but we help patients actually so the immune system become stronger and know how to fight different entities.
Yeah, and I'd like to elaborate a little bit on the energy. So people are very surprised to know that when you eat the apple, for example, if you eat an apple, you're not eating the apple, you're eating the energy of the apple. So if you eat an apple that's been sprayed with pesticides, for example, you're eating the energy of the apple plus the energy of the pesticides, which is death energy, right? And so in the case that Dr. Orpelli is describing is that he's got the energy of the virus, and he exposes you to the energy of the virus without actually exposing you to the virus. It stimulates your immune system because it's just the energy there, not the virus itself, and your immune system will react to it. It's just the way you're tested for allergies. You challenge the body, and the body responds to it. So you haven't actually, like, if you have an anaphylactic reaction to peanuts or an anaphylactic reaction to bee stings, you expose the person to the energy of the bee sting or the energy of the peanut, the body reacts, and then you can mitigate the circumstances. And so that's what he's talking about, just so you understand. The energy of the virus can help stimulate your immune system, and that is it, because it's extremely powerful.
Yes, and help us in safe way to learn how to fight things without actually, I call it the shadow boxing. It's like when somebody wants to become a boxer, first thing he train on a punching bag to learn how to attack really well, and the punching bag never punch back. So when he learned how to punch really, really well, and he will go to spar against somebody else, he will know how to do the technique better. Even if he will receive a punches, he know how to send them. So this is where we train the immune system, so the immune system actually know how to fight different viruses and different things.
Okay, so there are a couple of other questions that have come in. One person asked, does one have to worry about EMFs from infrared saunas? Well, infrared sauna is a certain level of heat, right? So infrared is heat radiation, and that's what warms you up in the infrared. And that is what's beneficial, right? The heat.
This is not radiation, this frequency of heat, like everything has frequency. We will see from color to sound. Sounds is higher frequency than color. and every color is different frequency. You can check it on Google and see how much is the frequency of red and how much is the frequency of sound, and you will go all the way to the highest frequency that you will go to X-ray.
Yes, and then when you go below red, you go to infrared. And actually, I've done this in class because as a physics professor, I did many demos demonstrating this. When you send white light through a prism and you take a thermometer in front of all the different colors, it doesn't raise until you go past the red. And then there are just certain points that the thermometer will go up because it stimulates its heat. It's sending heat radiation to you, and it is not dangerous at all. And exactly, and I know all the frequencies of them, or all the wavelengths. So they go from 400 nanometers, which is violet. Beyond, below 400 is ultraviolet. 700 nanometers is red, and beyond that is infrared. And for audible sounds, it's 20 to 20,000 hertz.
Yeah, another one thing that you mentioned now is the UV light. Mm-hmm. Most of viruses and bacteria cannot live in UV light for long life. So you can buy a unit in UV light and put it in all the hard surfaces around you to kill any virus and bacteria around you. But it's not very good to expose to the eyes.
Yes, and so sunlight's not enough. It has to be more focused. Sunlight, there is some UV there. You will get tanned after a while, but this is powerful light. And the other question that came through is what's the best ways to protect people from 5G? And I think we've already mentioned that. Don't have the phone by your head, turn it off. 5G is everywhere. And any radiation that you're going to be exposed to, the most radiation you'll get are the devices that are closest to you. So the devices that are closest to me, I bought a $10 router. So a router is a little device that has plugs for your Ethernet cable, right? So it's just a device that has plugs for your Ethernet cable, and all I did was take it from the wall where my Ethernet comes in, my Wi-Fi, and I just put a long line to my desk and connected everything. It cost me $10. So there are lots of ways to mitigate the amount of radiation that you're exposed to. Because I have 3 computers in here and a smart TV, and none of them they all work on Wi-Fi, and I've just turned them all off. Right? So those are some of the best ways to do it, is to disconnect as much as you can. Use a headset that's wired, not Bluetooth. Use a headset that's wired, and these are your safest bets, and help your bedroom. Because when you sleep at night, during the day we're going to be moving around, but when you sleep at night, that's the time that your body is repairing itself. And that's why having a good dark, electromagnetic free sleeping space is really going to help you recover.
Yeah, because 85% of the recovery happens when you sleep. Another one thing you can do is move to the mountains. High mountains, no radiation, not 5G.
Yeah, there's
really well and come back.
Yeah, there's a few dead zones. There are about 5 dead zones in the U.S. where there's nothing. And there are people that are very sensitive to it, and that's where they have to live. Because they just can't be anywhere where there's radiation. It feels like it burns them. Like I feel it too. Like my skin gets itchy. Like I just feel it. And so that's why I have wired everything in the house to protect myself from that. So
wire, and the second thing, to disconnect the Wi-Fi, because wire is one step. Disconnect is what you say. Disconnect the Wi-Fi is step number 2, because if it's not disconnected, it's still send and receive information, even if it doesn't go to any unit.
Right. So everything here, the Wi-Fi's been turned off. And when you get everything wired, you can turn off the Wi-Fi in your house, so you don't need it anymore.
There's only one location that I found that protect you from the G5 is a specific stone that they found it in Japan. We try every single thing to protect the phone so we don't go into have radiation, and nothing really work 100%. They work in some percentage, but not for high percentage. They were very good. We used to have like the David star on the back of the phone to protect us on the 4G. It doesn't work as well on the 5G. And most of
Ah,
the new phones are 5G, so it doesn't work again. So the rock that they found it in Japan is a green rock. It's the only green rock that actually, and it's very, very expensive. Used to be like $10. Now it's become $100 because they know they have the only one to protect it.
and what's the name of it?
I will send it to you so you can put it online.
Okay, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So this is the only thing that we know right now. We look all around to find something else to protect, but we couldn't find anything that protect us from the 5G. This is the only thing that, and you can wear it as a necklace on your body, close to the center of the body to protect you more.
Mm-hmm.
And we find that this work.
Awesome. So thank you everybody for asking these really incredibly good questions and allowing us to help serve you and help you through these really difficult times, because really the important thing is making sure that your immune system is up, mitigate your exposure to people. It's, self-isolating, and then ways to boost your immune system, which is all about today. And we talked a little bit about EMF, what to do, and we also talked about methods to help boost your immune system, big things. And just like last week. So thank you so much, Dr. Orpelli. This was extremely informative, and I hope that people that were listening in got a lot out of it and got some of their really important questions answered.
If anybody want to call to the office to ask questions, they're welcome to call to the office. You can put my phone number there, and we will try to answer as much as possible to everybody that has questions.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
thank you very much for hosting.
You're welcome. Yes, and we'll have your website and links to everything possible, name of the mineral, and a reiteration of everything we talked about to help you through these really difficult times.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, this is Dr. Anastasia Chopoulos, the Scientific Healer. Until next time.